Hi, this is Lori Knapp, and this is a tutorial about how to achieve this ultra widescreen anamorphic look in your footage without having had to actually go out there and shoot it anamorphically. So as you can see, what I did here was I basically have this letterbox look. I have black bars on the bottom and the top, and the middle is the 235 to 1 aspect ratio that I'm associating with the anamorphic format. But I don't, I could achieve this same thing by going through and cropping my footage down, but I don't want to do that because that would take forever. So simply what I've done is I've created a matte in After Effects which I can bring in and lay over the top of my footage. So I just wanted to show you really quickly how to do that. And the matte is going to have the dimensions of my original footage with the black on the top and the bottom, but it's going to have a hole in the middle, and the hole is going to be the 235 to 1 anamorphic ratio. So it's going to kind of give that little window for my footage to come through, and it's going to basically essentially crop it for me, except I don't have to do any work except this really simple task of creating the matte in the first place. So before I go over to After Effects and show you how it's done, I just want to go to Illustrator here because I have a little drawing I have here of two pieces of 35mm film, and I just wanted to show you exactly what it is that we're trying to achieve here. These are both two different types of getting the anamorphic CinemaScope look. And you're using 35mm 4 per film in both cases. In the first case, you're assuming that you're shooting with a standard lens and you're getting information that would normally fill your 35mm frame, but you're going to be cropping it. And you're going to be having black on the bottom and the top, and you're cutting some information out of your picture because you want that final output to be this square here, which is going to be wide, it's going to be epic, it's going to be cool. That's what you're going for. The disadvantage is you're losing information. So the solution to that is to actually shoot anamorphically. In this case, you're using a lens that has kind of an oval shape in the front, and it is, in fact, the oval looks like my face here, except it doesn't have eyes, a nose, and a mouth. But essentially what it is doing is it is stretching your image vertically so that it's filling to the top and the bottom of 35mm film. But this isn't your final output because obviously everything is going to be skewed and look horrible. So what you end up doing is projecting this now through the anamorphic projector. So I think, it's either 235, in some theaters 239, 2.4. There's a variation on the differences as far as the dimensions, but you're basically getting the same effect. You're going to stretch this back out to its normal proportion. You did not lose any visual information, and you're still getting a really awesome widescreen that makes your film look even cooler. So what we're doing is the cheating method, and we're going to need to create something to make this letterbox for us because we didn't actually film like that. So this is the final product. Let me show you here how to do this in After Effects. I'm going to create a new composition. I want to make sure that my first composition I create here has an aspect ratio of 235 to 1. So I'm going to turn off lock aspect ratio, and I'm going to go in here and I'm going to start playing with these tools. I'm adjusting my height because I want to leave my width the same. My width is coming from the dimensions of the 5D footage, which was 1920 by 1080. Depending on what format you're shooting in, you're going to have different numbers, but make sure you keep your width the same because you want to be pulling the height up and down. You don't want to change the width. You don't want to crop anything. So I'm just sliding this back and forth until I find the number, and I knew in advance it's 817. So here you go. You see all of a sudden frame aspect ratio 2.35. Good. I'm going to lock that down. And I've created my new comp. Alright, so now you see I have this comp here, which is going to be used to create the thing I'm going to use to punch the hole out. I'm going to create a black solid, make sure that it is the comp size, and I've got myself a hole punch. I'm going to now create a new comp. This comp is going to have the dimensions of what I'm shooting in. So I'm going to unlock the aspect ratio, put this back to 1920 by 1080. You see I've returned to 16 by 9. Now all I need to do is find my hole punch, which is comp 5. Oh, actually first what I want to do is create a black solid in the background here. So I'm going to make this comp size, put it as black. Now I want to punch my hole in the black. So I'm going to get comp 5, which was my hole, put it over the top. And on the black solid 6, I'm going to tell it, let's have your track matte be alpha inverted matte from comp 5. So essentially what that's doing is saying, wherever you see solid from comp 5, make me transparent. And now what you have is you have a perfectly formatted letterbox, which you can now render out as an image. So I'm going to just do save frame as file. It's going to be rendered out as a PSD file, Photoshop. It's going to retain that transparency, and then when you bring it into your NLE, you're going to be able to just pop this on top of your footage, and you're going to have the exact dimensions that you wanted. So I've already rendered one, so I'm not going to do it now, but it only takes a couple seconds, so no worries. But I'm just going to come back over here. I just found my mat, and I dragged it down over my footage, and this is in Premiere. And you can see that I can now make this image as long as I want to. I can stretch it out to make it the entire length of my movie, and everything I've got is going to be with that letterbox that I like. Now there's another method of doing this in case this didn't work for you, dragging it down over the top. I don't know why it wouldn't, but if it doesn't, there's another method of doing this. So you can see I'm just going to turn this video layer off. I'm clicking my eyeball, and I'm going to select one of my pieces of footage here, and I'm going to go into Video Effects, and under Keying I have a Track Matte key. So now what I'm doing is I'm going to go over here to Effect Controls, and I'm going to tell this piece of footage, I want you to get a matte, and I want you to find that matte from Video 3, which is where I have my matte stored. Now my matte's not on, but it's still getting information. It's like After Effects where you don't actually have to have anything visible, but it can still read it to make a matte. But as you can see, it did the inverse of what I wanted. Fortunately, there is a reverse button right there. So the disadvantage of using this method is that now when you come over here to this clip, you can see, oh, I don't have it anymore. Well, that's because this is now clip specific. So I have to go down here to Track Matte key, hit Command C to copy it, and then go over here to my next clip and paste it to make it look like I want it to. And of course that would take forever to do that for all your clips. It doesn't take as long as cropping them, so if you have to do this, it's still good, but you really don't have to. I mean, it should work where you just take this matte and you just put it up over the top of all your footage and you are good to go. So that is the beauty of that, and hopefully this was helpful to you if you want to just play around with some different looks for your film. And thank you for watching my tutorials, and please keep checking back on my Vimeo page for more in the future. And as always, I appreciate any comments and questions you may have, especially if you have an idea for something you'd like to see me do a tutorial on. I'm more than happy to take your suggestions. So thanks for watching. Until next time, see ya.